What's up, YouTube? It's the Mischievous Heathen again, and this is day 2 of poking around todaychristian.net, which is a Christian propaganda webpage with plenty of completely ridiculous articles to comment on. And today, and here's another bullshit article. It says 5 lies atheists tell, and at least they kept the list short this time, so I will try to blow through these really fast. And I always say that, but I never, and I end up being long-winded because there's so much bullshit in here that you just can't help but to comment on it all. Anyway, let me start off with the title: 5 lies atheists tell. Like there's some atheist dogma that, requires us to spread lies, maybe to steal Christians away from their flock or whatever. The title already implies that atheists are being dishonest, so you can already tell where this is going. So let me get started. And I'm reading this straight from the article. This is no prep. This is all fly off the handle shit, so bear with me. Number 1, the biggest one, there is no God. They would have no problem telling a dying child there is no God. Clearly they have no idea if there is or there isn't. They assume their conclusion is the only right one. Alright, see, and again, the whole dying child thing appealed to emotion, making us seem like we're these heartless, individuals with no empathy, obviously propaganda, and just complete horseshit. And of course, the last sentence I love: they assume their conclusion is the only right one. That is the fucking hallmark of religion right there. I mean, I got to, atheism is a conclusion, right? So I don't assume the conclusion. I arrive at the conclusion after carefully evaluating all the evidence. So, call bullshit on that one. I mean, every Christian that I know has already assumed their religion is right and that their God is the one true God, quote unquote. So, how are you going to accuse me of that shit? It sounds like this particular article writer is projecting his bullshit onto me. Number 2. They say they have open minds. We know that is not the case. When presented with spiritual issues, they always dismiss it as fictitious, invalid, or unsupported stories. Well, let me see. I saw Jesus in a piece of toast. I saw God in a cloud. I saw Grandma who died 2 years ago in my dream. I dreamt I was going to get into a car accident, and then I did. Yeah, the reason that we dismiss unsupported stories is, surprise, surprise, they're unsupported. So, what is the right way to go about this? Do you just believe claims until they're proven wrong? Or do you ask for evidence? Or do you need some support to someone's claim, right? Right. Well, if you're the kind of person that is going to believe just whatever someone tells you without looking into it, congratulations, you found religion! Number 3. Christianity teaches you not to think. Atheists assume that the Bible somehow teaches Christians to not use their brain. This is clearly not the case. Well, I never made the claim Christianity teaches you not to think. I think Christians refuse to think. And that could just be because they're lazy. I find that it's more of a cognitive dissonance kind of a thing. If they don't think about it all that much, they just kind of assume it's what they were raised to believe, or they think that they had some sort of spiritual experience, whatever that means. And, they just, it's not that they refuse to think, it's just that they refuse to, take it one step further and actually examine their beliefs. They rather just stick their head in the sand and just be happy at the end of the day that they think they're going to the magic place in the sky. Number 4, science exists despite religion. Truth. Science exists specifically because of religion. The scientific method comes from studying philosophy, and Newtonian physics comes from studying astronomy. Religion caused people to study both philosophy and astronomy. Alright, this has taken history and grabbed it by the nutsack and has twisted. So, what it actually is you have people that have developed science and the scientific method over time. Were these people Christians, or at least claimed to be Christians? Yes, because back then, well, hell, everyone was a Christian. But it doesn't exist specifically because they were religious. See, these kind of situations is the exact kind of propaganda that people buy into. It's kind of like saying, well, Stalin killed millions of people, and he was an atheist, so therefore atheism kills the most people. Stalin killed people not because he was an atheist, but because he was crazy. He wasn't doing it under the banner of atheism. So, science exists specifically because of religion? Nuh-uh, I don't think so. The men and women who have contributed to science, some were believers and some weren't. I'm sure some claimed religion, or a religion of the time, because if you didn't, guess what happened? You were ostracized, put in jail, burned, whatever. It wasn't looked upon too kindly. So to save your ass, you said, I'm a Christian. Sure, why not? Or I'm a Catholic, or whatever. Number 5, they don't care if there is or isn't a God. Deep down inside of everyone's heart, there is a missing element that is always questioning, searching, and longing to find God. They may try to ignore it, but it still remains there. So, they don't care if there is or isn't a God. That's actually kind of true, and not because of any other reason other than I don't care about unsupported claims. God is an unsupported claim. So I'm not going to be worried about him or Quetzalcoatl or Thor or Zeus or anything else until there's some evidence for it. And I like how it says, deep down inside everyone's heart there's a missing element that is always questioning, searching, and longing to find God. How arrogant and pompous do you have to be to think that you know what other people are feeling and knowing? Why? Because your Bible says so? Really? And you know that verse or whatever is true because how? Oh, because you assume the conclusion, I'm sure. They may try to ignore it, but it still remains there. As you can see, there's a lot of assuming going on in this article, and this is a great example of it. I mean, they're just assuming people know. They know what's inside my head. They know what's inside your head. It doesn't matter. You know that God exists. It says so. Right here in this old 2,000-year-old mythology book that I believe, because I was raised to believe that way. Or, again, I saw Grandma and Grandpa in a dream, and they passed away years ago. Or angels told me to make a left instead of a right. Again, this is complete horseshit. So, in short, atheists don't get together. There aren't secret meetings with robes and hoods. We don't sit there and try to say, what could we do to get more Christians and more religious people to not believe in God? No, that's not what happens. Anyway, this is the Mischievous Heathen. I'm out. Maybe I'll do a day 3 on this. It depends what kind of other crazy shit I find on this webpage. Later.